All right, welcome back to another episode of the More Than Outdoors podcast, the podcast where we talk about the people, places, and passions that drive Maine's outdoor recreation economy. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Austin French.
And I'm Sam Andrews.
And we are in a nice, cozy gazebo spot in the day where it is like a bajillion degrees outside. Thank God we found some shade to come hang out with our newest guest on the podcast today. So we have Alex from the Maine Island Trail Association. You might notice that this is the second episode in a row where we have someone from MITA coming to hang out with us as part of our MITA Month series. So
MITA Month.
A lot of great stories came out from the Ben episode, but we also want to make sure that there's some other stuff we want to be chatting about on the MITA side. So Alex, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, making this happen.
Thanks for having me here and making it happen. And just like to hang out.
Awesome. Do any of us remember where we are today? Because I do not remember the name of this park.
We are in Lincolnville at
Breezemere Park. There is sailing happening to the left of us, and there's a nice little drop-in spot. Got some boats action.
Sailing on the lake, and there's like beautiful mountains in the background. My favorite part of like the Camden Lincolnville area is like you get the ocean, but you also get these beautiful mountains, and it's just classic.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
Quintessential Maine.
Freshwater action that you can use, learn the skills, and then carry to the salt.
Yes, yeah. We were joking about that on our drive down today, and we were like, okay, where are we going to dip into the water? Because I would so much rather jump into fresh water than salt water. It's just naturally. And so we're like, do we jump in after this episode, or do we try to find something between here and Camden?
I think you do it all day.
Yeah,
that's the way you got to do it. You got to do it all day.
Yeah, totally.
Dip after each episode.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe you can join us for a swim.
Yeah.
There you go.
Are you a freshwater or saltwater swimmer?
Oh, I would go ahead and say that I am a freshwater swimmer. I'm not like anti-swimming in the saltwater, but my background has been in freshwater sports primarily, and living in the Western U.S. for a long time, saltwater was never really an option.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it does make it easier to like clean off, less rashy.
Yeah, less rashy.
But now that I'm saltwater focused, I'm like digging in more and more.
Sure.
Well, I feel like it was funny. So I've had the privilege of being able to go out to multiple islands with you, Alex, and to do some stewardship work. And I think it was the second island we were on with a few of my students, and you're like, Maine is just itchy. It's just an itchy place to spend time outside, and I feel like it's whether it's the salt water or just the things that you're brushing up against, or the bugs.
or the humidity.
Yeah. Or the humidity.
The humidity could be itchy. That's true.
It's a very different experience than out west. Less itchy out west.
Less itchy.
Yeah,
definitely
maybe
less
other
humidity.
things.
And less humidity. But it's not necessarily like a bad thing at all. Like itchy is what I growing up in the Northeast and recreating in the Northeast and learning about the outdoor and activities in the Northeast, it just became it hardened my skin to the discomforts of like the itchiness.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think itchy is not negative. Itchy can have a negative, or rashy can have a negative.
But not
and
in this connotation.
Not in this connotation. It's just like it's a concept that you need to. It's like
you embrace it.
Thunderstorms or avalanche safety, or making sure you have the right sleeping pad. You got to deal with itchiness. It's a thing to be aware of. You got to mitigate the hazards.
Totally.
Or else you're going to be really uncomfortable. I wouldn't call it like a life-threatening itchiness.
I love where this conversation is going already.
Me too.
For the audience, for anybody who doesn't know who you are, maybe just like quick intro of like who you are, what you do, and who you do it for.
Yeah, so my name's Alex Terry.
Wait, I want to keep talking about itchiness.
I thought we got to move forward.
We are. Sorry, go ahead. Who are you?
My name's Alex Terry, and I am allergic to poison ivy, so I do get itchy. Bring it all back. But I've been living in Maine now for just over a year. Moved from northeastern California, but returning kind of East Coast roots with my wife and almost 2-year-old. And I work for the Maine Island Trail Association. So we do stewardship and oversight on islands kind of all across the Maine coast. My focus is a very large region, the mid-coast Maine, which goes from Muscognis Bay through Deer Isle, which allows for, my goal is to both oversee the islands and make sure they're being taken care of in that area. Also to provide access opportunities through stewardship. So volunteer, or MITA relies heavily on volunteer work and a volunteer ethic to keep the islands clear. We're a really small organization. And so with that, we bring people out. We bring people out to do volunteer work, which serves two purposes. A lot of hands makes light work with marine debris cleanup, clearing trails, pulling invasives, different projects like that. But also, it gives a volunteer the opportunity to experience and build a love for the landscape and the islands as well. And so it sort of serves two purposes there. And depending on the project, I'd say one is more important than the other. Each time it's a little bit different.
Sure.
And so they're kind of equal. I think they sit on an equal plane. The other component of that I work with is landowners. So Maine is 95% private land, but it is an incredible state to exist in the outdoors with. And what MITA does is, MITA doesn't own any property. We work and foster relationships with landowners, whether it be the state of Maine, different land trusts, MCHT, IHT, Georges River Land Trust, and a bunch more all across the coast. And then also private landowners who identify that they own a really valuable piece of land that they want to share with the public, and maybe have concerns about what it means to open up their land to the public. So we work with the private landowners to address their concerns and educate the public is kind of the final component, is educate the users on leave no trace, the island regulations that meet the needs of the private landowners to kind of keep the islands open and keep them accessible, and ultimately network and grow the amount of islands that are accessible and cared for and loved by volunteers, users, or people who just want to know that there is this wilderness right out their door who live along the coast of Maine.
That's awesome. That's a huge territory.
It is so huge, and mid-coast. And it's mid-coast. When I the mid-coast, people are like, "Oh, you're mid-coast, so you must be down in Booth Bay." Or,
right.
And I was like, "No, I'm not." They're like, "Oh, that's down east." So it's really, it's up for debate on what is considered mid-coast. But yes, it is a wild territory. I've been building a mental map, which has been a really fun challenge for the last year.
You probably drive quite a bit then to get to all of the places and all of the islands.
I do. The way that MITA is set up is that we have 10 skiffs scattered along the coast of Maine, and depending on where I need to go, I leave my house in Belfast, which is right in the middle.
Yeah.
And I go down to Round Pond and launch out of that area, or I'll go around to Naskag and launch, and sometimes launch out of Rockland. So kind of wherever the boat ramps need the place, which has been really interesting from an access point of there's so much effort going into keeping the islands public, but actually accessing the coastline from the mainland is its own challenge.
Yeah.
And parking, and if you wanted to go somewhere that might take 2 days to get there, you have to find a place that not only you can get on the ocean, but also can leave your car overnight. So there's different challenges there. One of the major responsibilities that I have is working alongside the Southern Coast Stewardship Manager and the Down East Stewardship Manager to coordinate 40 volunteers on our monitor skipper runs who utilize MITA boats, and they will go grab a boat and then they go and they visit 5 to 10 islands in a day of just checking, doing small amounts of cleanup. And so we coordinate with them, make sure the boats are running and operating well, and then kind of get their feedback. And then from the information that we get from them, we coordinate more work days and volunteer days like that.
Which there's a lot of logistics that are involved in that. Like, I know just from my few times of going out with you and other times, working with and volunteering with MITA. It's like, okay, we're going to meet here at this spot, and then we're going to take the boat to this island, and then you need these things to be on the island, and then we're going to be here for that much time, and then we're going to take the boat back, and then, it's just like lots of little logistics to think about. It's kind of like planning an outdoor adventure.
Oh, yeah, every day.
Every day.
We had this cleanup we did, the Deer Isle cleanup last weekend we had 6 boats launching out of Naskeg, 1 boat launching out of Stonington, and a kayak crew from Osprey Echoes Sea Kayaking launching out of Stonington.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of logistics getting all the boats to Naskeg, and then once you press play, it's on.
No going back.
Yeah, it all went down, and it was great.
Awesome.
That's so awesome. You have like all these different vessels going to an island to then do this like island cleanup. And it's like these different user groups, which I really appreciate about MITA is that they kind of speak to all the different languages of how people play on the ocean. So you get to an island, and we were talking about like the log book, and you can write like your mode of transportation. And so even through your volunteer days, you have these different kind of modes of transportation to get out there, which mostly it's on the skiff.
Yeah, most on the skiff, but finding ways goes back to like that volunteer access through volunteerism and access through stewardship. Some folks are not necessarily comfortable or don't have a desire to be on a powerboat.
Yeah.
And so finding another way to like participate in helping the island. You can, if you have a lot of sea kayaks, you can get more people onto an island too. And so there is a whole element of like people kayaking and getting to participate and engage with stewardship of the islands as well in that realm.
How did you end up getting into the outdoor rec industry in the first place? Like, obviously, you're where you are now, but
yeah.
like, what did that kind of journey look like for you?
So I grew up like in New Hampshire, and with mostly like it's like a household where like just like encouraged to go outside, and would like camp here and there, not all the time, but usually like once a year we do a big camping trip, and then some hiking and backpacking stuff. And then in that, there's an organization called the Student Conservation Association, which takes like high schoolers, and it's like a free volunteer program, but they go all over the U.S. and you go and live in a national park and do service work.
Oh, cool.
In a national park doing like conservation work, so like trail work. And I did that as a high school student, and it like had such a strong impact that it became this tether, kind of followed through. And went to college in Southwest Colorado, but like came back to the East Coast and rafted on the Kennebec and just kind of jumped around and sort of building the skills and building the avenues of where I wanted to go. But it became really important to me to participate in both like the recreation management component. Like I'm so appreciative of outfitters and guides and like being able to pull people out and like take people and have an experience. But where I like started diving in was like the hands-on work in the field of clearing trail and building trail and designing trail. And with that comes for me, it was like building a connection with the places that I play. And through kind of a not a roller coaster, but just like veering through the path as most people do in their 20s. I was so committed to going down the mental health profession. I was a guided wilderness therapy for 5 years and was really deep, and then took a step back, self-care, like essentially the world that I want to be in, where I can create a difference and make change, is in this rec management, outdoor access, both where I can provide like environmental stewardship and also get people out having fun, because I like really a big fun advocate. I just like love people having a good time and like respecting the places that they're in and having a really good time.
Cool.
That's such a fun, windy way to where you are.
Yeah.
I mean, you have such a unique office where, like, I think sometimes these volunteer days, it's like the most fun is just the boat ride out there. I was talking to Austin on the way here where I was like, I'm not really meant for trail building. Like I'm not built for this. Like, I'm not very good at it, but I love the boat ride. But it's like you love the actual hands-on, like clearing the trail. And I mean, there's so much, it's very rewarding to be able to like work where you play and be able to make a difference. Like when we went out to Campbell Island and cleared like a section of the trail, I was thinking this would have been like impassable for some people, and we've just like made this possible now so that people can come and enjoy this.
Mm-hmm.
And that feels really good. Or like clearing the island of debris that is washed up, and it's a place that you come and sea kayak and camp on often. Like that, there's something so valuable about doing that. So I understand the like taking care of the places you love. It's like this reciprocity.
Yeah.
It's special. And that's all about MITA. Like MITA's all about that.
Mm-hmm.
The ethos of MITA, I guess. Yeah.
So what is like I'm sure your answer to this is there is no typical day, but like for someone who has a role like yourself, right, like what's the sort of day-to-day life of Alex kind of look like?
Okay, so it starts pretty early because I have a young child, so I'm up early.
No sleeping in.
No sleeping in, and but essentially I've like figured out where I'm going to go to the islands, kind of like ideally weeks before, months before, but because as the project work comes in, I start making arrangements and narrow in. And well, every day is a little bit different. The general nature of what they look like is that a couple days prior, I've coordinated anywhere between 4 to 10 volunteers. We'll just go with the 4 volunteers because that's just me involved driving the boat. And we're meeting at a boat ramp. And so I go pick up leave my house, go find the nearest boat. Get to the boat ramp, meet everybody between like 8:30 and 9, typically. And then we do a quick safety briefing, talk about the work project, and then we kind of head off to lands unknown. We go visit between like 1 to 4 islands, and in that, we're oftentimes picking up marine debris. So like ghost gear that's washed up on shore. Sometimes campers leave behind trash, so we'll pack that out, which is unfortunate, but it's really not that common. Most stuff is plastics that have washed up and rope that's washed up on shore. And then there may be a tree down, like depending on the project, it would like look different every time. Yeah, we get out there, kind of unleash on the beach, and then somewhere around there have lunch. Folks might like swim. If you gotta have lunch on a ledge,
yes,
is key, or like a nice, beautiful place to look out to. And then, yeah, depending on how much trash, I usually we'll load it in a boat and we'll get it back, and then we'll say goodbye back at the boat ramp, and I'll take the trash and bring it to the nearest transfer station, dump, probably come to my house, deal with it when it kind of filters through, when I have access to get rid of it. Yeah. And then a part of that is also just like tracking. You track how much we're moving from islands, how many people were out there, both campers, but also how many volunteers. And so that information we can share with the landowner of kind of by keeping your island open to the public and particularly to MITA members, like we're also like giving back to you as pulling this much marine debris and trash off.
Cool.
I feel like the other component too that you didn't mention is like the chainsaw and the loppers and the saws.
So the project work was not marine debris, is oftentimes cutting like blowdowns, which is like the chainsaw is like a really interesting tool. It's like I'm pretty passionate about like what it can do when it's used well, and it's also like pretty hazardous. So we are like running a chainsaw often in like pretty remote environments, which is a thing that has tracked throughout my career. But this is the water environment. There's a whole new level that goes with it. The island like a lot of trails and campsites get island blowdowns frequently, which oftentimes looks like full root balls coming up, which presents its own challenge and complexity. But it's a really interesting puzzle. And so that is very much like a key component of my role. And then we have some volunteers who are very skilled sawyers as well that we call in and we'll work together to pull down really complex hazard trees that are over campsites or where people are like actively going to spend more than 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's been crazy to kind of see that puzzle and like watch your brains work and see like, because it's not always just like one clear tree blow down where you have to like clear the trail and just like cut the section out and roll it off. It's like multiple big heavy trees kind of piled onto each other where like one is about to like fling up if you cut the other. So you have to be like really smart and strategic about when you cut and where. Which I've really enjoyed as a volunteer, being able to like watch that as somebody who doesn't operate a chainsaw, and just because normally I'm the one in the back like waiting for it to be cut to then roll off and clear out the area after you've cut. So yeah, it's definitely a unique experience to be out there and watching you all kind of clear the trail. It's fun.
Yeah, it's definitely, I'd say like the days are really fun. Like it's a lot of like back end, front end stuff, but once we like press play, it's on and like days are happening and
well, and it's like having that like you have the sort of balance of like yes, there's plenty of time where you are doing the like okay, I got to organize the logistics, I got to know where the projects are happening, I got to lay all of that stuff out, and that's like the the quote unquote office work component to it, but then being able to have that balance of like I am able to be out. I'm able to also see the impact that like my work has on these places and stuff. I mean, that's like it's such an enriching feeling when you're getting to like have that kind of moment fairly regularly in your job.
Totally, yeah, it's definitely enriching and it's been fun. So my previous job, I was working for the U.S. Forest Service and then a nonprofit doing trail work in the Western U.S. for that, and we were like would have saws on dirt bikes and would ride and cut to open trails that way. And so it's been fun to like change that up a little bit and have saws on boats and driving around and open trails that way. And it's kind of wild. Like it's how much you don't notice as a user when you like are just walking a trail and the trees are not in the way, and how much you notice as a user hiking a trail and the trees are biking a trail or showing up at a campsite on an island and like there's so many trees I can't even put my tent, or it's just like
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I love that you mentioned you have to have a lunch on a ledge, because when we were all on Campbell Island, I was like, I'm hungry right now. Like that's the other part about I'm really like showing my true colors in this episode about trail work.
That's part of the podcast.
I was like, okay, we've been doing this for 2 hours. I'm starving. Let's just eat right here. And it was like really buggy in this one area.
It's like
that
a
I
marsh.
was about to sit down. It was like, it was a marsh. And Alex is like, no, you need to go find a ledge. We are on the ocean. Like, go find a spot. Like, keep going. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go. So not even like 2-minute walk later, like we find this perfect shaded spot with like beautiful view and all shared lunch together, which I feel like is another fun part, is like getting to engage with the different types of people that come out onto the island and want to give back in different ways, because maybe they are recreators or, taking their boat out there and getting to enjoy the spaces. But I'm curious if there's anything that's like really stuck with you from your time with MITA, and like maybe an experience or a few experiences you've had with just like different people out on the island that's like, you've held on to.
Yeah. Well, I think that it stuck with me the most. This is more about the Maine coast and my personal journey than less about MITA per se, but it is all related. Because MITA is like the medium that got it. That's like really supporting this like effort of is, I think, moving from the Western United States back to Maine, or to the East Coast, then to Maine. I was really curious what it was going to feel like. And like I knew of islands of Maine. I just really didn't know like how inspiring the Maine coast is going to be for adventure planning and like going places and being out there, and like how you can go places there that like feel like are so undeveloped and are like most stunning places that you've ever been, and you're the only one there. And I think I was just like, that was just like such a surprise. And so I think like that has like stuck with me a lot, of just like how cool it is that like this is a resource that I grew up pretty close to, but I really didn't know about. Yeah. And like kind of like what stuck with me is like, I want people to know about this. I want to share this with people. Now that I'm part of MITA, it's like, oh, this is such an opportunity to share the islands, and then utilize the skiffs, and like through volunteer work, like it's a great way to get people out. Yeah.
It came up in the Ben episode of just like the concept similar to what you're talking about, is like so much of the educational component comes from the fact that like, unfortunately, when a lot of folks think of the Maine coast, they are only thinking about the part of the coast that we are physically on, like the mainland.
The coastline.
The islands are this like totally foreign entity to them, and so being able to like make folks aware that like, hey, this is also part of the state that you are either residing in or coming to as part of a travel situation, and there's a totally different level of appreciation once you get out there, because it is a very unique way of life once you get out on so many of those islands, right?
Different way of adventuring.
Yeah. And just like the absolute just like salt of the earth people that you end up encountering when you go to so many of those places, it's just like, I don't know. I can think of like some of the interactions that I've had, and they're just like, they're some of the coolest people to be able to just sit down and talk to, and like whether it's doing trail work or doing whatever we're doing out on one of those islands, it's a really, really cool experience.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that MITA, like the islands offer, and with the educational component that is, I think, is really important, is there's islands that kind of can cater to like different skills or desires, or like how big people want to go. Yeah. So like Warren Island is a state park. It's on the trail. It's more like a proper campground style. Like you can reserve your spot. There's privies, and that for a particular user can really be like, if you can cover those bases, can really just like create like a comfortable access atmosphere that they can like go a little bit deeper into the backcountry and can have the experience. And then they also have islands that are like out there and totally wild.
Oh gosh. The user experience right here.
User experience.
We're surrounded.
Get to the water fast enough. This is awesome.
We're just gonna cut through the gazebo to get there as quick as possible.
Embrace the shade.
Yeah.
Something that we love about this podcast is that we always have recreators running through the episodes, whether it be somebody on a boat behind us or a mountain bike or kids running with their pool floaties.
Yeah. Love that.
A little bit of everything. One thing I would definitely be curious about is like, obviously with the amount of experience you get to spend out on the islands, like what are the things that you like wish more recreational users understood about those environments, before they were going to come out, whether it was with you guys or not, and they were going to end up in some of those more, especially some of the more remote island properties.
Yeah, totally. So I think a couple things, because it's such like a small, like islands are small. It's just like your impacts are a lot more amplified. And so like the concentration of like people in a spot, like you can really, the islands, like they feel it more than if you are like in a setting where maybe like you have people more space to spread out and that sort of thing. So I think definitely the actions are like your actions are amplified there. So like leave no trace, and those kind of skills like packing out human waste in particular is one that I think a lot of users follow really well, but it is like can be a real can have a really negative impact both on like the island ecology and also on the user impact.
That was a fun one on my most recent trip to teach. We went sea kayaking, teaching my 2 college students who were working with me in the summer. It's like, okay, we have to carry out our human waste. And they're like, what are you talking about? Like every other campsite that they'd ever been to had a privy or some kind of like a bathroom that they could use. And it's like, you kind of have to make that environment. You like find the best place on the island and have the best poop view of, you're adventuring.
Yeah. It's all part of the game.
It's all a part of the game, but it's something that you don't think about. And I think for a lot of people who are recreating on the islands, it's like you just assume if you're going to camp somewhere that there's going to be a bathroom. And
definitely, yeah. Or you just like do what you would do in like a backpacking setting.
Yes. Cat hole, dig
cat
hole.
Yeah. So I think there's that, and then also back to like your actions matter. The islands, particularly the ones that are privately, and this actually even goes to like private islands, land trusts, and even state. The access isn't like a given right, and there is an aspect of it being a privilege to be out there, and so like the love for all users to know is that like the guidelines that we put out, well, it might seem like strict or the goal is that we follow those so the islands can be available to you later on. It can be available to your kids. It can be available for the family that wants to come next week. But that islands don't get pulled off because users are treating the islands poorly. And so, yeah, I think the impacts both like physically and also the like relational impacts are really amplified on the islands based on like their size, and there's lots of islands, but it's like actually the land space is very small, and so it's like they're kind of small. It's like it's not infinite of a space, and so
and to your point, like with those guidelines, like sure, some of that is from the MITA perspective of like here are the general best practices that we know help steward these places along, but then you have no idea, like especially on the private owner side, like you have no idea what parameters that they are setting on that land that may be above and beyond like whatever you guys would come in with as your general practices. You know what I mean? And that relational management of like, that's a commitment that like you all as MITA are making to that private landowner to make sure that land can continue to be accessible for whoever's going to come out and recreate and enjoy that space. And unfortunately, like those fractures can happen really quickly. If all of a sudden, a couple people decide like, oh, those guidelines probably don't apply to me.
Yeah. And then that closes down the option to be able to stay there.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
no longer available.
Yeah.
I find like the MITA guidebook and the app are really good tools to kind of see what to expect before you go out to a place. Like I think about like, can I have a fire, and what does that look like, and am I going to be sleeping on the ground, or am I going to be sleeping on the beach, or am I going to be sleeping on a tent platform? And are there enough sites? If it's a bit like I was planning my canoe trip for this week, and I'm sure you're thinking about it. You were talking about bringing family out to some of the islands. It's like, okay, it's 4th of July week. How many other people are probably going to be going to this island, and are there going to be enough spots? And like, are we like, you have to kind of responsibly camp on an island. You can't just like take over. And that's another experience I've had on MITA Islands, where it's like, oh, I have to keep paddling 4 miles to the next one because there are no more available spots. And yeah, that's definitely something that you have to consider when you're paddling to these smaller places that are mostly made out of rock too. Like talk about like, I'm like, oh well, we can always dig a cat hole if we needed to, and it's like, actually no, you're just like yeah. It's mostly rock and then down trees if Alex hasn't been out there. And poison ivy and bittersweet.
Yes, those are all things.
The invasives, yeah. So, yeah, it's a really unique area past the coastline. I love the islands for that, and I always find that it's like a different world once you get on the ocean. Like, different language, different types of people, different way of life. Yeah. And I'm sure you experience that working out there. Like, this is everything kind of slows down.
Yes.
And you're just going based off of what's right in front of you, how the weather is that day. Like, I mean, those skiffs are pretty small, and you're really impacted by what the weather is doing. So you have to be really cautious about that going out. And when you're planning your logistics for the day, something you probably didn't include in what my week to week looks like.
Oh yeah, I'm checking the weather like probably 20 times a day. It changes so rapidly.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, I was like, it's going to be a no-go, and then in the morning they dropped thunderstorms, and I was like, actually, and the seas came down just enough. It was like, actually, we're good to roll.
Yeah.
So we went.
Yeah, it is a day to day, and that's something a lot of people will be like, okay, Friday, it's Monday. Oh, Friday, there's this weather, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, you just gotta wait.
Just hold.
Just hold.
I mean, and just like the coast of Maine as a whole is just like its own weird weather microcosm that, like, no matter what any weather app says, I feel like there's still a 75% chance that it might even be wrong. Like, there's just so much variability to it. I mean, I think about even just like us planning to come down here to like do this episode. Within the last 4 or 5 days, as you're checking the weather, it's like, oh, there could be thunderstorms. There could be rain from the night before. It's actually going to be 100 degrees. No, it's actually going to be 80 degrees. Like, there's just so much variability to it that, like, yeah, I mean, making logistical decisions can certainly be challenging. But, I mean, that's the joke we talk about in the outdoor wrecking trail all the time, right? Like, we deal with the 2 most inconsistent things in the world. People and weather.
Yes. Constantly.
And we're like, yes, let's do it.
Yeah. And it's reliable.
It's
reliably unreliable.
Yes. So we've talked a lot about the volunteers like throughout this episode, and so like I want to make sure that we give the audience the note of like, if someone out there is looking to volunteer with MITA, like what is the best way for them to go about like getting to that, whether it's like contacting you, or I know you have a number of colleagues that are kind of spread out throughout the entire state. Like, what's the best way for them to access those?
Yeah, totally. I think it's checking out. So we have on our MITA's website has opportunities that are listed of where we're going, out of where, like, pretty regularly throughout the summer, and you'll probably have some more posted relatively soon. I think we got to our major cleanup hurdle, and so we're kind of like resetting for July and August right now. But yeah, so those are posted, and depending on where you want to go, like I would encourage, like if you live in the Southern Coast but have always like really wanted to go down east, maybe like plan a trip around a MITA workday that gets posted and sign up and go up and spend the night and like participate in like the main buzz around like the, around being down east and being in a much like remote location. Or you can always like reach out to me directly to like ask alex@MITA.org. It comes to me. And our hope is that like those opportunities are like feel plentiful and are in places where you are, unfortunately somebody is and like wants to get out.
That's how we've connected, really, is like me reaching out to Alex being like, hey, I have a group of students I want to bring out to the island, because it's like more than just doing the stewardship work. It's like a whole experience. You really get to have that boat ride. You get to go to a new place. You get to kind of see how the work is done. You get to meet Alex and learn about his life and hear his funny jokes all day. It's great. It's a great experience. So it's more than just the volunteering.
It's more than volunteering, like more than outdoors?
Yeah.
Gosh.
How we came up with the name, we always have to that's the common thread.
So we have like a rapid fire question segment that we like to end every episode with, but is there anything else like you want to kind of like drive home on the MITA front?
I just think I think it'd be awesome for folks to become MITA members. Mostly the information that MITA has, it really opens the door to get out on the water, and it supports us with our mission of doing project work and cleaning up the islands and getting people out there and all that. But I think the return of what you get as becoming a MITA member is pretty substantial. It really can kind of give you that step stool you need to get over the barrier, know where you want to go, what to bring, and fill that educational void, and to get out on the water. And so that would be the last bit of the plug is please visit the islands, build a love for the islands, care for the islands. Yeah. That would be the plug I would want to provide to the listeners.
Cool. Well, and if you need a sun shirt like this, you can't tell because they do a great job of not putting the logo on the front, but on the back, this is a MITA sun shirt. So comfortable.
Yeah, you guys do have the best swag.
Yeah, even though it is a bajillion degrees out here, you might notice I'm still rocking the long sleeve that I've kind of pulled up to a 3/4 sleeve. But it is so comfy cozy. So at a bare minimum, if you can't become a member for whatever reason, hit the merch shop. Make sure you're supporting MITA.
Yeah, you guys do have really cute stuff. I don't know who's doing that. Is it Jordy?
It's really not the world that I'm in. I think it's kind of
no
Dougherty, Nick, Celeste, Stephanie. Yeah. It's really everybody that's not me.
You just get to wear it.
I just get to wear it.
It's pretty awesome. All right. Rapid fire. Mud season or black fly season?
Ooh, I could just do one or the other. I'd be just fine. But it's when they sort of hit that overlap sweet spot is kind of where it's it's getting I can't move quickly enough to get out of the black flies, and I'm getting chewed.
You're this is the most rugged.
Yeah. What's your preference? Early mornings or long evenings on the water?
Oh, early mornings. Coffee and cruising. That's yeah.
The coffee cruise. Describe the future of Maine's outdoor economy in one word.
Optimism.
Weirdest thing you found during your cleanup work?
Oh, I just think most recently I found an airplane tire. Massive tire that was from an airplane in a swamp.
Wow.
What do you think? Did it drop off the plane and land, or did it wash up?
I bet you it washed up. Based on what I know about airplanes, which is not a lot, but I think if anything falls off an airplane, it's a huge deal.
Kinda.
Yeah, they would probably be it fell on this island. We have to turn around. We have to get it.
Yeah, especially one of the 3 or 5 tires the whole thing has to land.
It's not a tire heavy mechanism.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Toughest weather you've worked in?
Toughest weather I've worked in my life.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was working like an outdoor, like man camp construction in 100 miles north of Fairbanks, Alaska in January. And so we like worked in Fairbanks, and then we drove up to Stevens Village, which is like 100 miles north, get on the Yukon River, drive 30 miles on the ice road. And it was two weeks outside construction, and it was negative 50 for 5 of those days. A couple of days it warmed up to negative 20s where it sat when it wasn't at that, but we didn't have any wind, so that part was still workable, but it was like eyelashes freezing, and then just like in like a really like isolated part of the world. Yeah. Yep.
What the heck? What were you doing?
What? You were just building a camp up there?
It was like a man camp. So it was like for
Gotcha,
like oil and gas exploration. It was kind of like the company who did remote logistics, and so there's like this was a remote
That's
spot.
pretty remote.
And
Wow.
yeah, it was
Burr.
so still that's definitely the roughest weather.
Being
condition.
out on the ice road, that's gotta be wild.
I'm just trying to envision you like on the trek out in the ice road. There must be like chains on. Are you in like a truck or something?
We're in like imagine like a box truck. I was like
Yeah.
driving a box truck
Yeah.
full of stuff down,
What?
and you're just like kind of like you follow. People have gone through and like dropped like kind of like painted the snow or like dropped like cones in there, so you kind of have an idea where you are, but it's kind of like weaving up the Yukon River.
Wow.
Holy crap.
And you slept in somewhere warm, or
We slept in somewhere warm.
Okay.
Yeah, not like a.
Warmer than 0.
Like
Not,
eyelash
it was
to the
definitely
brows.
warm. It wasn't like I wouldn't call it like cozy.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, that's rugged.
Yeah,
Most underrated outdoor skill.
just like being toxically optimistic.
I was gonna say attitude. That was like my first thought. So yeah, I'm with you.
Just like I'm so stoked that it's actually bringing the crew down, but in the long run, it like gets us through.
That's awesome.
These bugs are awesome.
Yeah.
It's so itchy.
It's so itchy.
What is your favorite hidden corner of the Maine coast?
I really like Boxham Cove. I've been like since I went there once. I'm like committed to bringing my like brother-in-law's family and my family, so 3 kids under 6, to it
Yeah.
tomorrow. So I'd say that's like that's a corner of it that I just really like. It's far out. It's like a wild Marshall Island in general. It's just like it's a wild place.
Cool.
Yeah.
Most rewarding volunteer moment.
Most rewarding volunteer moment, I think, is I went to an island on a deer island cleanup, and it was just joined the trail, and it was like pretty trashy, like deep trash, like in the forest, and pulled a bunch of trash, filled a boat. But the most rewarding part is that going to an island that has been on the trail for a long time, and it has followed the kind of MITA through its history and been consistently cleaned up. Just like that deep trash doesn't really exist.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's the contrast of realizing that, view like this has an impact on these islands. And I think that was a really most like rewarding, and also like for context for my own work, like what I'm trying to do is like we're trying to get the new islands.
Yeah.
It's like this experience exists. Like you go deep into vegetation, you're not digging into like a bed of plastics.
Yeah.
That's a good goal.
Yeah.
I feel like Hell's Half Acre, we were like looking for trash.
It's
We
hard.
couldn't
The
find it.
ones that are like constantly have been cleaned for a long time.
Yeah.
It's like, they're
Yeah, that was the first island I'd been to actually, where I was like, there are no there's nothing. So, kudos.
mm-hmm.
So I feel like your work is kind of like thankless at times, because people are just like, oh, this trail's here, this is awesome. They don't think about like how that trail got there and who did the work to make it happen. And I'm curious about what is motivating you, knowing that it's thankless and that a lot of your work is actually protecting the experiences for people that you might never meet?
I think I would push back a little bit on it feeling thankless.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I think particularly folks who like see us out there and have been around for a long time doing this year after year, whether it's like engaging with MITA or not, but like being on the islands, they really have like see the difference that is made. And so I think the thankless stuff sometimes falls in like the backgrounds of like trying to keep all the wheels going.
Yeah.
But in a way, because I am the front-facing part of the public-facing component of the organization.
Yep.
People see a boat of trash come off an island, like whether they cleaned it up or they just like saw it happening, like they're pretty excited to like be there and realize like, oh, this is like a deeper part. And I think trail work and marine debris cleanup and invasive, like just like the stewardship components in whatever aspect you're in, as people become educated on the landscape and where they are and how to like care for it, the like thanklessness kind of falls away because people start to realize like, oh, this trails don't just appear.
And it's so good to recognize that like the more MITA does the work that you do, the more recognition and education there is around how important it is and why it's so important to these communities.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a great way to say it. It's like, it's kind of, it's an exponential. It's like, it's like an awareness loop that builds on itself. Yeah.
Well, I can speak on all of the people I know who love MITA and are sea kayakers and use these islands all the time. And we definitely have a great appreciation for everything you do. And it's super fun to be a part of it. And I said it on the last episode and why we're doing MITA Month, because I'm such a MITA fangirl. That I'm like, thank you for all the work that you do and for getting people the access to these islands and showing them that it exists and cleaning the islands and keeping the relationships with the landowners and just showing them how important it is to keep these places open to people so that they can experience that amazing remote place that kind of gives them that immersive outdoor experience that is really rare. Doesn't get to happen as much anymore.
It's one of the many components of the folklore of Maine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like all of, because we have so many incredible, very diverse ecosystems that live all in this same place. And those islands are one of the folklore that you can't fully understand until you experience it yourself. So Alex, I gotta say, like, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and continuing this conversation, showing everything that MITA has going on. I hope that we see lots of our audience members coming out for those volunteer days, and especially if you are in the audience, like, and you sign up for one of those days, like, tell Alex, like, you found out about this because of the episode of the More Than Outdoors podcast, because that's just great commentary for us to have on the background too. We'll just periodically check in with Alex and be like, hey, has anyone actually name dropped the podcast yet? But yeah, no, seriously, thank you for like coming on and telling your story and doing the work that you do.
Thanks for having me. It's been great to hang out.
Yeah, totally. Fun to hang in the shade with you.
Yeah. Shade is key. But with that being said, lots of amazing episodes still coming out throughout the rest of this summer and into the fall. And so please just make sure you're hitting the like button, you're hitting the subscribe button. It's the only way you're going to know about all the things that we have going on. And like you would have known this back prior to this episode coming out, like we're starting to have some giveaway content going out. The only way you're going to know about those things is if you're following and subscribing. So make sure you're hitting those buttons. It's the best way to support Sam and I in this work that we're doing as we're traveling all over the state, saying hi to people and telling stories. So thank you to all of you for being part of the conversation. And until next time, we'll see you outside.
See you outside.
See you outside.